Good morning, everybody. It is 8:11 a.m. It is May 29th. Welcome, welcome to my channel. What did we have yesterday, right? What happened in the markets yesterday? So yesterday, we basically opened up, right? Kind of went down a little bit, kept hitting 530 in the SPY, then hit Friday's highs later in the session, and then the market took a dump. The internals were kind of heading towards weakness, except Nvidia was holding up the market again. So once Nvidia had some selling, the market was able to push lower. But the market, since we were in balance, got bought up at the end of the day and went right back to the most traded price of the month and the week. Okay, so that magnet happened. Now, this morning, we are gapping lower. Very small gap, but we were gapping lower. Now, the only thing I can see is the yields rising to what I said yesterday, 4.5 yield in the 10-year. It rose. Okay, so that puts some weight and hawkish comments from Kashkari. So, in a weak bond auction, so that's, good morning, Chief. That's what's putting weight on the markets, and oil rising. Okay, geopolitical tensions again, Israel and that Rafah happening. So this isn't an all-out bear thing I'm looking at right now, but we'll get into it. We'll get into it. All right. So welcome to my channel. My name's Stephen Gonzalez. I use volume profile, market profile to find structure in the markets, along with anchor view ops, the most traded price of the year, the month, the rolling week, in the previous day. Also gamma exposure levels, and this all just helps me find structure in the market. All right. So every day I do this at 8:10 a.m. We go over the futures charts, we go over leaders and laggards, some economic news, then around we go some daily charts, and around 8:30 I go over my scenarios for the day for the ES and the Nasdaq, and map out some short and long setups that I'm going to look for, and basically that's it. So hopefully you guys stick around. All right. So if you can subscribe, set an alert, that would mean a lot to me. All right. And if you like my content, give me a thumbs up or a like. That would mean a lot to me as well. Also, you can follow me on X. That's at Gonzo719. All right. So markets got very good relative volume this morning. Very good. Over 129% last time I checked. That is beautiful. VIX is, you'll see, it is with this gapping down this morning, is risen. So that's something to look at. All right, so let's get right into this. Let's get right into the watch list, the futures. Let's see what's going on in the markets. You'll see at the top of the list is the VIX. Okay, the VIX actually reached down to like 11. All right, we're almost at 14. It's up 7.66%. Okay, so a little fear creeping back in the market. Now I talked about that 10-year yield hitting 4.5 yield, and it did it yesterday. It did it. All right, so crude still trucking along. All right, up 0.71 at $80.40 a barrel. The dollar is up 0.06. 10-year yield is flat currently on toss, but guess what's going to happen here with 30-year bonds being sold right here down 0.35%. That is going to raise that 10-year yield. Okay, ES down 0.54, the Dow's down 0.56, the Nasdaq's down 0.56. Gold's down 0.64, Bitcoin down 0.75, Ether down 0.81, and the Russell down 1%. Remember, the Russell's more sensitive to the 10-year yield. Okay, Russell is more sensitive to the 10-year yield. Mag 7 Plus, check it on it. Leader, oh shocker, Nvidia up 0.76 after a monster day yesterday. That stock just continues yesterday. I was looking at a short. First try, took a small loss. Second one had a little small, like a smaller profit, because what I saw under the hood was leaning towards weak, and Nvidia just kept pushing. And then, of course, when Nvidia sold off, the market sold off, right? Apple just won some lawsuit in China. Netflix up 0.23. Netflix down 0.23. The rest of it is laggards. Okay, the rest is laggards. Let's go into the bigger laggards. Snow down 1.15%. AMD AMD down 1.24%. Okay, AMD's hitting that 170 level. That's a key gamma level. Okay, Coinbase down 1.84%. All right, Baba's down 2.23%. All right, now Baba's at a key level. The only thing about Baba is that every day you come in and it gaps up, it gaps down because it's a China stock. It's not very predictable. However, it's pulling back to a key level from where it broke out. All right, so I have that on my watch. All right, moving on. Let's go to the top sector stocks. All right, there's not really a leader here. I wouldn't call 0.03% of Chevron a leader. Okay, so let's look at the laggards. Salesforce is reporting earnings. When did they report earnings? Today, after the market close. And you got Morgan Stanley, Disney down, Cat down 0.69, Eli Lilly down 0.73, and Qualcomm. That's a pretty hefty move here, down 1.45%. Okay, so it's very different today when we look at the sectors. We're gonna go to my swing list real quick. Leaders, Chewy. Chewy. If I recall, their stock has been beaten down. Let's see here. People like something in Chewy right now. Up to 13.5%. DraftKings had earnings. They're up 6.79. Hood mentioned buyback program. Okay, they're up 2.2%. And McCarthy and Fitch, if you look at that chart, it's ridiculous. It's basically like a meteor. We got CVS up 0.17, and that's really it. Now, laggards. American Airlines. Whew, down 8.26%. GameStop down 4.33%. JetBlue Sympathy 3.17%. SoundHound down 3.05%. Southwest down 2.53%. Donald Trump down. AMC down. Delta down. United Airlines down. Obviously, all sympathy with American Airlines. Carvana down. Carnival Cruise Lines down. Taiwan Semiconductors. ConocoPhillips purchasing, I believe, Marathon Oil, which why is that's down. Enphase, MicroStrategy, Palantir. Okay, so we got some laggards here. All right, we got some laggards this morning. All right, let's go back to sectors, and you're going to see the big little difference here. Not the big little difference, but leader. There is none. There is no leader this morning. Now, let's get into the bottom here. We got discretionary. We got industrials. We got real estate. Financials is down 0.58. Now, the financials is a big sector, second largest sector weight in the S&P 500. Okay. Now, semiconductors down 0.83. Now, is this a dip? Buy, because they're hot. Okay. Now, they're just getting a dip here, down 0.86. Okay. Do you get a further pullback? I don't know. Right now, momentum's with them. So people can see this as a little dip. All right. So that's the watch list this morning. Now, if we're going to go to some news, economic calendar, okay, we have some stuff on the docket here that I want to look at here. So let's look at it together. All right, what do we have? 7 a.m. already came out. The 30-year mortgage rate. Actual 7.05, previous 7.01, so that rose. Okay. Now, today, at 10 a.m., you have Richmond Fed Manufacturing Index popping out with three datas at 10 a.m. You have Dallas Fed Services at 10:30. All right. Now, the only reason why I'm going to bring this up is because there was a bond auction yesterday. All right. And today you got to pay attention to this 2-year auction here at 11:30. I'm not sure if it will move the market or not, but I just want to pay attention to it. You got Fed Williams today, the Fed Beige Book today. Bet Bostic after the close though, but Fed Williams is speaking at 1:45 p.m. All right, so that's what we're looking at today. So that 10-year yield came to fruition, like I said earlier. Let's look at some news here. Futures lower, Salesforce to report. Let's go back here because I saw something else that I want to just cover here just real quickly. Okay. So what do we have? Nvidia stock rose. American Airlines stock sank after its second quarter earnings forecast. Robinhood stock rose for the buybacks. Marathon Oil stock rose after energy giant ConocoPhillips purchased them. All right, it's worth $17.1 billion. Okay, if you look at MRO, it's going higher, right? Salesforce stock fell 0.5. Dick's Sporting Goods, I think I said DraftKings before, I meant Dick's Sporting Goods, rose 8.2 at the retail raises full year guidance. Okay, Kava stock fell 3.5 to measure. Chilean food chain reported a decline. All right, other news. Let's go into it. I just said ConocoPhillips. American Airlines shares sink after quarter two profit forecast. Merck to acquire a drug company, iBio. You can see here in a little before the bell, U.S. stock index futures and European shares declined as rising bond yields spurred concerns of interest rates staying elevated for longer. Okay, also Kashkari talking, and he was talking about possibly a rate hike, which I don't believe it's going to happen, but he just mentioned it, right? Um, what else here? I don't think anything else that I really am going to talk about here that I haven't already talked about. Okay, let's just go to upgrades, downgrades here. All right, upgrades. Do we have anything to talk about here? Norwegian Cruise Line got an upgrade. United Airlines. United Airlines got upgrade as well. That's interesting. Downgrades. Downgrades. American Airlines. That's why it's down. For Solar, got a downgrade from a buy to a hold. All right, let's look at raises target. Kava target raised. Celsius target raised. CrowdStrike target raised. Dell target raised. GoDaddy target raised. What else here? MicroStrategy got a target raised. Geez, to $2,047. Who else? Royal Caribbean got a target raise. Okay, those are the target raises. Let's see the target lowers. All right, American Airlines, no surprise there. Autodesk. Let's see here. DraftKings, all target lowered. Lululemon been beaten down. Ulta Beauty lowered as well. Let's see, initiating coverage. We have Palo Alto outperform. I regret not nipping that at 260 when it dropped. All right, that's it for that. We can get into daily charts. Daily charts. Daily charts. We're getting right on schedule for that 5:30 scenarios. Okay, let's go to those daily charts. Boom. Let's look at that SPY. Boom. All right. So you can see a whole lot of nothing happened yesterday. All right. Let's get in here. Let's get in here. Okay. This is a range. We're setting up for a huge move, which could be for core PCE. Okay. Ultimate balance. Okay. Look what happened. We opened here. We opened there. Right. Went up to here. But 530 was really resistance, and then wham! Look at that trend line. Woo! Hit the 90 MA daily and the trend line and just popped right off of it. Right now, when you're in balance like this is what happens because people buy the dips, sell the rips, and you just stay in balance, right? And that's what happened. Boom, right? But this morning we are gapping lower, so we are at 526.76. 526.76. We are gapping lower. Okay, what are some destinations that we could see for today? Right, so what last week's lows is 524, this orange right here, 524.72. Also 524.30 around, so say 524 was last month's highs. Okay, if we go below that, that would give a little edge to sellers. Okay, but this could be definitely support 524. Okay, let's look at the futures. What do they look like? Okay, you can see what we're doing right now. Here's yesterday. This is where we are now, right here. That's yesterday. This is where we are now. Okay, so in futures, look at last week's lows, 552.73. That could be supportive. You have that 20-day simple moving average a little lower than that. Okay, but we're moving sideways. But with 10-year yields rising, we'll have to see. Okay, that's going to put weight. Now, here's the Qs. Nvidia just keeps powering this market. Okay, but we're starting to be in range of this big candle here. Okay, so we dipped down, but then that was bought up, right? And we closed up here. However, where are the Qs now? 456.55, 456.55. We're pretty much at yesterday's lows. We're at yesterday's lows. Okay, now last week's lows, 451.79 right here. So 451, 452, you want to call it. We got a trend line here. Let's see what happens here. Okay, Nvidia is still, it was actually down earlier, but now it's up 0.5%, 0.50%, a half a percent. It's trucking along. I still believe that 10-to-1 split. People are like, if I can get 10 shares now, I'll have 100 shares at like 100 and something dollars. So, yeah, I think that's a good bet right now. Okay, so let's look at the futures. That's the futures right now. So that's yesterday. Like right here, you can see right yesterday's lows. And futures are gapping a little bit down. Okay, where can we go? 186.21. That's last week's lows. We just pushed down a little bit more. Last week's highs up here. All right, last month's high, 186.10 is a key level as well. That's also the last week's lows. So that could where we go down to, but who knows? I don't know. Right? I don't know. I am liking. You'll see what I'm liking today. Okay. Now, moving on. Triple-headed monster. Triple-headed monster. Let's do it. Boom. 10-year yield. This has got the market spooked a little bit. Look at that 10-year yield. Ooh. I talked about this yesterday. We were here yesterday, and I said 4.5 yield. Right here was the swing highs here. We broke it. Okay, so now look, you have a little trend going. You have the swing low here, but now you have a swing low here, and now you just broke this swing high, and you're up here. The 10-year yield right now is up 0.53%, gapping up. Wow. Rate cuts are just getting pushed off the table. That's what the bond market's telling you. Okay, so if we now can continue to move up, can we continue to go up to 4.68 yield? Okay, that's going to put weight, especially on the Russell. Okay, especially on the Russell. All right, so moving on to the other part, the dollar. The dollar is not moving like the 10-year yield. Look, we bounced off that 200-day moving average yesterday. We're in a web of moving averages, but you need the dollar to start pushing up to get more weight on this market. Okay? So, moving on to the VIX. Now you'll see the VIX spiked up today. Look at that VIX. We were down to 11.52. We are currently at 14. All right, so a little fear starting to creep into this market. Okay, Little fear. We need to get over 15 to get some nice volatility. But this, creep over 15 and hold it, we have a new market, folks. And that would be great for summer trading because otherwise summer's like horrible. All right. So maybe we have a volatile summer. That would be great movement in trading, right? So that's the triple headed monster. Right now, you got the yields working, you got the VIX going up, dollar needs to jump in there. Okay? And look where we're at 831. Good timing for the market profile, volume profile. Structure. Structure. Here we go. Let's do it. Let's do our scenario. Let's do our breakdown. All right. And I'm really liking it. I'm really liking this VIX higher up. I really liking the volume. Like I said, the relative volume's high this morning. I'm loving it. Okay. Let's look at our structure here. Remember how I open that when I open you and welcome you to my channel in the morning. I say I use volume profile, market profile to find structure in the market. Okay. Now, what I'm going to say is the most traded price of the month and the week even got closer together yesterday. We're talking about 53, let's call it 53.23. Okay. Remember, I said those prices are magnets. Magnets. And I said yesterday, what are we going to do? We're going to test one side or the other. That's what we did. Okay. Now, price is here. They're gapping down right now. Gapping down, gapping lower. Okay, let's look at the profile. Profile of the last week. The little excess here, you got value area. That's the most traded price of the month and the week. That's 70% of the trade. Now we're getting movement lower. Okay, movement lower. Where are you looking at here? We got a low here, we got a low here, we got a low here from yesterday. Okay, we are in a demand zone. We're gapping into a demand zone. Okay, this is that big move, the Nvidia day. Okay, this is where that reverse and you had selling happen here. That was single prints. This is the single prints left over from that day. Okay, so that's really the defense of the Nvidia earnings day. That's at the Nvidia's reported earnings, and then the next day. This was the next day where you did a big reversal. Okay, that's that. Now, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what's important here. I want you to notice something here. Price is here. Most traded price of the month and the week is here. This right now obviously is bearish, right? Below that, that's bearish structure. Okay, look where the overnight high is. Right in line with the most traded price of the month and the week. It's not a coincidence. So now we have a weak high here. All right, sellers need to defend that. All right, one other thing, let's note it. Here's where we opened in the overnight session. That's the long activity to all that short activity, and we're at the lows. And we're at the lows. Now, we are generally in a little bit of a balance area here. Oh, you just got to push down. You got a little extra here. All right, that's fine. This demand zone still holding. Okay. Now, this is setting up classic for a fade, which means you go against what's going on right now. Why? Almost 100% net short. You're into a demand zone. Okay, we just came from balance. Now, ultimate balance has huge moves when you break out of it. Okay, when you break out of it, it also can retrace very violently like you saw yesterday's close. Okay, so let this push. Now, if you get some steam on this thing, it could be a really big move down because you're in ultimate balance here. However, if you do one of these like it's doing now, you got to concentrate on this level here, right here, around 52.93. That most traded price of the overnight. Those are where shorts have been piling in to the market right now. Okay, so what I'd like to see is, all right, we push down, and let's say we don't go too much farther, and we do one of these and hold this level. Well, you got supply here, but you can rip right back here, rip up here. I'm gonna really be concentrated now. What's happening right now? Dips and semis. Semis are down 1%. Guess what? Nvidia right now is basically break even from yesterday. It's zero. It's up zero now. Okay, we're pushing lower. We just broke this demand as I'm speaking, which is still fine. We have another demand down here. Okay, like I said though, if this market cannot sustain down here and you start doing this, we're gonna rip right back up to the mean. Why? Little volume profile, market profile lesson. Okay, this is value right now. That's where the market deems fair prices. If this market cannot come down here and establish new value, it's gonna rip right back up to here. It's gotta hold down here. If it can't, whoop, magnet. Okay, remember, momentum is still with the bulls until it's not. Okay, but the VIX is over 14. You just got excess. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, I went a little long-winded into that, but I just wanted to explain that. Let's get into scenarios. Okay, all right, so this demand zone has been broken, but you got excess now. You got thinning volume here. Okay, sellers could be running out of steam. However, like I said, it could be a big move. So what could I see? 100% net short. Okay, bulls need to defend. If they can't, you're gonna get a farther move lower. Okay, VIX is rising up past 14, but let's see. So my first move would be, all right, even if we push down a little bit, we open. We go through the open, and you really want to see it. What happens here? There's a gap fill here, so you really could see if you push here, you might get a little selling. If you hold around this area and you break up, these are all shorts here in the most traded price of the overnight. You're going to start pushing right back up, probably get some resistance in these supplies, and you're going to go right to here. And if you do this, you could even go back up. Okay, that's one I'm looking at. I really wanted to stay around here. Now, of course, the market can push down all the way to here in this demand zone. Same thing, lower high, and you could start working yourself way back up. Now, this might not get that big move. This might be more of a gap fill. Okay, so we have to see, right? This is what I like to see. Okay, you could setting up for a bear trap. Like I said, I really have to see how the market reacts to this. Okay, that's what I'm seeing here. Okay, as far as like a short, give me 1 second here. Okay. Okay. So, what are we talking about? Short. Sorry, I had to talk to my daughter for a second. All right. So, for our short, what do you want to see? Here's the gap fill of the 296. If you push down, like here, and you hold that, You hold that, we could go lower down to here, right? That's a definite one. Okay. The next thing is you got some supplies in here. You could hit one of these, also roll over. If we were able to go all the way up here, you do have supply. You do have this big level here. It's the most traded price of the week and the month. I don't know if we make it all the way up here. Do we roll over? Okay, I don't know. This move had to happen early. You'd have to really go up here and then maybe you roll, but I don't know how much you would roll here. Okay, because just think about this. If this market fills the gap, which would be here, right? If we do this and we start creeping back into range, balance is going to come into play and you're going to start ripping back up. So I don't really like that play as much. All right. We'll just have to see how this reacts. Okay. Let's look at the NASDAQ together. All right. That was the ES. NASDAQ, remember, NVIDIA is down right now. Down now. It was up earlier before when I'm speaking. All right. So let's look how the NASDAQ looks right now. Okay. Let's look at the structure. Here's you got this value area here, and you got movement to here. Okay, most traded price of the month is right here, 187.50. Most traded price of the week is up here. Price is here. So you're in between. See, the Nasdaq's different. You're in between these ping pong levels. So that's really important, this level in the Nasdaq, 187.50. You need the Nasdaq to hold that level. Okay, if this holds, and like I said in the ES, you go lower and you can't go lower and this holds, and you also got a demand zone that you're in right now, we could just bounce back up, right? We could just bounce right back up. Okay, so we are gapping lower now in the Nasdaq. So that's yesterday's high and low. Here's the overnight high. Here's the overnight high. Now the Nasdaq's even more net short. Look at that long activity to all that short activity. Okay, so you're almost 100% net short in the Nasdaq. So this all about right now. You're in a supply. You're right now. You're in a demand in the Nasdaq, and you're got this big level. So that needs to be defended by the bulls. If this is defended, I could see ES SPY rising back up into balance as well. Okay. Now, so there's your gap fill. That's horrible. There's your gap fill. Gap fill coincides with the most traded price of the overnight. That needs to be defended by sellers. If it's not, we're going to go ping pong back up to the most traded price of the week. Okay, so let's talk about scenarios here. All right, and we're going to talk about the bull one too. So I like the thinning out, and you're getting some volume here. All right, I like the thinning out, but this is coming. It's in demand by this monster level. Okay, so sellers have a lot of work to do in the Nasdaq. So you could see a push, fine, gap and go. Well, let's just say you hit, clean these little single prints, maybe even hit that demand zone. You start popping up, holding above this level. You're gonna probably, most likely, fill that gap and rip back up to here. Okay. If you're thinking about Nvidia, oh my God, it's stock with 10-to-1 split, and Nvidia gets a pullback, people might be like, oh man, I could get it Nvidia at a better price. All right, so that's one there. Okay, as far as a short, okay, you really want to see this gap fill, hold, so we can come up. If that holds, now you got this big level you got to contend with here, that 187.50. Okay, you need to see the market do rip through it, maybe even take out that demand zone, come back, hold under it, hold under it, hold under it to see if you can hit down here this demand zone about 188. let's just call it 180, I'm sorry, 186. But it needs to hold under that level. It needs to find acceptance there. If it can't, it's going to rip back up. All right. Now, of course, you can just rip up to here into this supply and fall back. I don't see that as likely. I'd have to see, right? I think the move that will happen will be here, or we're going to rip through and go lower, right? That's what I'm seeing in both markets. All right, that's what I'm seeing. Hope you enjoyed my analysis. If you did, subscribe, set an alert. That would mean a lot. Okay. If you enjoyed my content, please give me a thumbs up or a like. All right. So everybody stay patient. The volume's great. We got some volatility this morning, so I'm looking forward to the trading session. Good luck to everybody. See you everybody tomorrow.